Hey everyone, this is Teacher Aya, your host, and welcome to another episode focusing on the Sustainable Development Goals. In today's goal, we will tackle about Sustainable Development Goal number 6, ensure availability and sustainable development of water and sanitation for all. Joining me in today's conversation relating to SDG 6 and the issues in the country are Teacher Cami from Zimbabwe and Teacher Del from Ghana. So as you know, today we are going to tackle about SDG Goal 6, which is to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Now, what do you think are the major problems related to water in Zimbabwe?
Right. We have a lot of problems. Access to adequate and clean water and sanitation continues to be an issue in Zimbabwe, especially for those living in rural areas. But nonetheless, human life is hinged on water, sanitation, and hygiene. So in light of this, so many organizations have worked together to provide the precious liquid. And some of the problems we have associated with the lack of water in Zimbabwe are that a costly life and some inconvenience. There's panic and pandemonium about the whole issue. So in the cities, some apartments and houses have borehole water while others don't have. Some people will be forced to stay and rent houses where water is guaranteed but where it's expensive to live. And some people that can afford will buy water in bulk or small quantities. Some with transport will drive to fetch water from where there are boreholes. These are some of the problems associated with lack of water. And others will sacrifice other needs in their lives to invest in sinking and reticulating a borehole. So we often see long queues deep into the night in the capital city where boreholes were sunk around 9 and 10 p.m. So there are borehole marshals that control the queues and maintain order at the boreholes. And even into the wee hours of the morning, like 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., some people can wake up from their sleep, from their precious and wonderful sleep, to line up at the boreholes. And in the rural areas, in the rural areas, not all people have safe drinking water. Women and girls have to travel 4 kilometers, just on average, even more than that, to fetch water every day before the students go to school, and after they come back home from school, they can be always looking for water. So it's quite it affects the people in a big and bad way. And also some people will risk some waterborne diseases such as cholera, malaria, and typhoid, etc. If they are forced to use water from unsecure sources like shallow, unprotected wells, which they just dig for themselves within their homesteads. And some people also do not have access to toilets, so water is scarce and toilets, so it becomes a real big issue.
Thank you. Now, with all these problems, happening in your country, now what are the initiatives done by your government to aid the people?
Okay, so the government, through the District Development Fund program, sunk some boreholes in some, but not all communities. And unfortunately, some of these have since broken down due to lack of periodic maintenance. They need to be maintained and rehabilitated. And the government also provided piped water to some, but not all, rural schools in order to raise the standards of living for those in the rural areas. As for sanitation and hygiene, the government has done well by enforcing the construction of model toilets at each home. So some families still do not have toilets, but the government has tried, particularly those in remote areas still do not have toilets. Maybe, I don't know, they will use the old system.
It's kind of sad to think about, but at least they are trying to help the people. Thank you, Teacher Cami.
Yes,
Now, let me ask you, why is sanitation important?
Sanitation is important. As I said earlier on, human life is hinged on water, sanitation, and hygiene. Without sanitation, we can not maintain our health. We need to live in order, to do everyday activities. And we live only when we are healthy. And water is just one thing we cannot do without. We need to have
Correct.
water. When you are constructing a house or wanting to live somewhere, you have to consider the issue of water first, whether water is available. So water is life.
Well said. Water is life. I love that. All right. Now,
Thank you.
what needs to be done to improve the sanitation plight in Zimbabwe?
This need for employing the financial resource. Without financial resource, we cannot achieve anything in terms of this goal. So there's need for adequate financial resource and to have the priorities, to prioritize the people and not to take them for granted. Actually,
Correct.
to have strong and robust principles in order to alleviate this situation.
Well said. Thank you, Teacher Karen. Now, earlier you mentioned about, I was really surprised, like women walk like 3 to 4 hours just to get access to water. That hasn't changed. Like, why do people have to walk so far to get water instead of just living near the, the wells?
Okay, so in Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe has 5 regions.
Okay.
These are categorized, yes, according to how wet or how dry they are and the amount of rainfall they receive. So some people live in dry areas. Those are their areas where they live, and they cannot go and live in other areas because they don't belong there.
Yes.
So where they live, the government and other organizations such as UNICEF, Germany, and CARE Australia, they have tried very, very much to put up some boreholes.
Really?
Aid the,
Okay.
yes, to aid to sink. Some boreholes have been sunk in such areas. But it's difficult for an organization or for the government to have a borehole at each homestead. In rural areas, somebody can occupy maybe 2 hectares of land. That's one piece of land for one family and another family like that. So with that distancing of their homesteads, you cannot put up 5 boreholes per maybe for 5 homesteads because of the limited financial resources. Yeah, so you have to come up with a focal point and actually sink a borehole there. At a radius that is accessible to all the people, maybe at a long distance, of course. That's why some people have to walk 4 kilometers just to fetch some water.
I really admire all those people who walk, how many kilometers just to get water and then go back and walk the same kilometers again. Like
Yes, carrying some like 20 liters.
20 liters bag of water. Oh my goodness. Like it's for people, I really realize how fortunate I am to be able to have, access of water easily at my home. But I think about all these people, all these women walking how many kilometers to get water, it makes me realize that, we really need to do something in order to help the others.
Yes, we do actually. And some of the people have sunk their own boreholes within their homesteads. Those who can afford. Those who cannot afford have not sunk some boreholes. And they can help others. Some just refuse with their boreholes, or they have to make other people to pay for drawing some water from their boreholes. So it's just a very difficult situation.
It is, but at least there are some organizations who are helping your people. Do you think we will be able to achieve SDG 6 by the year 2030?
I think it's really very difficult to accurately ascertain now, since 2030 is just a short period of time. We are talking of 9 years from now, right? 9 years into the future. So 9 years in the past, it looks like very, very small, but 9 years into the future, it looks like it's a long time. But I think we can, since there are already some limitations on the ground. In order to change the status quo, maybe we need some strong and very, very, I don't know how we can achieve it, but it's possible, provided that the financial resources are available. That's the main restraint. If finance was there, everything could be done in a very short period of time. So there's need to build more dams. There's need to expand the water infrastructure. So I think, in 9 years, if there's time, by 2030, we can achieve that. But without the financial resources, so much impossible.
Yes. I think, when we look into the future, 9 years is kind of a long time, but at the same time, time flies so fast. right?
Yes, that's
Before we
right.
know it, when we wake up, oh my God, it's already 2030. But hopefully,
That's right.
we
That's
will be
right.
able to.
That's right. That's right.
Today, we are going to talk about SDG Goal 6, as you know, to ensure
Okay.
availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Now, what do you
Yeah.
think
You're
are
welcome.
the major problems related to water, not just in your country, but around the world?
Okay. Well, access to water is quite difficult in some cities, especially in my country,
Mm.
as a result of rapid urbanization. Our population has been increasing ever since we recently had our population census, and now we are about 30 million. That is the total population of the country. But the cities are actually, the number of people in the cities are increasing like at a rapid rate. Now, I
Wow.
think that the total population of the capital city is about 5 million, so 5 million plus.
5
Yeah,
million.
so because of that, access to water is quite difficult. So people resort to other options, such as the drilling of boreholes or wells. Yeah, so it's quite difficult for everyone to access clean water as compared to other countries. So at least the government of my country is trying so hard to make sure that water is accessed by all, irrespective of how the population is growing.
I see. So until now, that is the current situation. Like people are still
Yeah,
struggling to get access to
yeah,
clean water.
exactly. Yes, because of rapid urbanization.
I see. Now, what what are the initiatives done by your government to be able to
Uh,
help with regards to that problem?
okay, so the government is also working in collaboration with the Ghana Water Company. All
Oh,
right, so in my country, for instance, the Ghana Water Company is actually responsible for uh, making sure that everyone has access to water throughout the country. Yeah, so they are working so hard to see whether they can expand their facilities. Yeah, so according to statistics, it is said that about 80% of the population have access to clean water. That is for bathing, for washing, and for other household
okay.
uh, chores. Yeah, but then because the population is actually increasing, it is making it quite difficult for the government to make sure that everyone has access to water. So the government is working in collaboration with the Ghana Water Company to ensure that everyone has access to water. Yeah, so in the rural areas, they don't really have access to pipe-borne water. So most of them use the borehole water that is well. And according to the science, I heard that it is not so healthy to rely on borehole water for, especially for drinking, because I heard that sometimes it contains some like toxic chemicals like nitrates
Mm.
and
It's harmful to the
nitrates,
body.
exactly harmful to the body. Yeah, so that's why the government is making sure that it tries to expand the facilities of the Ghana Water Company so that at least everyone can access clean water, especially for drinking and for other household chores.
Thank you. I'm happy that your government is really doing something to help the people in Ghana.
Okay,
Now let's talk
okay,
about sanitation. Why do you think
okay.
sanitation is needed?
Oh, sanitation is very, very important. Yeah, it makes us live a healthy life, of
Yes.
course. Yeah, that is the major reason why sanitation is important. But then um, sometimes it's difficult to achieve 100% sanitation goal
Mm.
because maybe the government maybe hasn't put policies in place to make sure that like everyone live a healthy a, he- as what do you call it, a healthy life.
Mm.
For instance, in my country, other countries, especially the advanced countries, have a way of collecting their rubbish or their trash.
Mm.
In my country, we don't sort our trash into like different categories.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
so?
that is the problem we have. We have some people sort their trash into combustible and non-combustible, or
It's very
burnable and non.
dangerous.
Yeah, but then in my country, I think now the government is trying to put in place policies so that at least we can um, collect or sort trash according to categories so that
Mm.
at least we can use them for recycling. Yeah, that is another problem too. It's just very few organizations that recycle. So we have a lot of plastic waste that the government is trying to deal with. Yeah, plastic waste is a major problem in my country. So the government is trying too hard to work with the private waste management companies to make sure that at least we're able to sort out waste according to categories. Those that are burnable, we burn them, and those that are recyclable, we recycle them. Yeah, so that's what the government is trying to do. It's working with the waste management companies to make sure that at least they try to recycle waste more.
Thank you so much, Teacher Joe. You know what makes me happy listening to you is that I can definitely see that in your country there is unity. The government is doing their best to help the people, and the people listen to the government as well, which will make your country, progress more. Now, what are the benefits of water, sanitation, and hygiene for children and families?
Oh, okay, for children and families. All right. So, when children don't drink clean water, they are likely to get very deadly diseases. Diseases that can cause them to die instantly, and it can cause them to die later, in the future. Yeah, especially those toxic water. If children are exposed to toxic water, it's some of them actually die. We've had instances where children died as a result of drinking very bad water. Yeah, so I think that was long time ago. That was in the 90s. Yeah, those times we didn't really have clean water. We didn't have very good institutions that managed our water bodies. So a lot of people were dying, especially the children. Yeah, so right now the government saw that it was actually very necessary for them to make sure they manage our water system so that at least children can benefit from clean water. So I think right now things have gotten better as compared to the 90s. In the 90s and the 80s, it was
not good.
So bad.
Yes, so
bad. Good. Yeah, children were dying as a result of malaria. You've heard of malaria before, right?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, we live in the tropical zone, and if you live in the tropical zone, it is very possible that you can get malaria because we have a lot of female Anopheles mosquitoes, and those mosquitoes are actually so deadly. Yeah, they're able to transmit those
diseases, right, very easily.
Yeah, so deadly. So that's why right now our government is so strict when it comes to the welfare of children. Yeah, so they make sure they do everything necessary for them to have access to a safe environment so that they don't contract any diseases whatsoever.
Thank you so much. Teacher Del, do you think we will be able to achieve SDG 6 by the year 2030?
I don't think it will be possible to achieve SDG 6 in the next 2030. That is for everywhere in the world, because it's not every government that is concerned about SDGs.
Correct.
Not every government. Yeah, some people are concerned about it, but some governments no, not at all. Especially countries that don't practice democracy. Yeah, they don't care about things like that. They don't care about things about the United Nations. Yeah, some people don't trust the United Nations.
Yes.
Countries. I don't want to give an example of countries that don't actually trust the United Nations or don't want to have anything to do with the United Nations. Yeah, so I don't think it is going to be possible because countries are only focusing on the things that are necessary for them or things that are important for them. Yeah, so some countries, what is a high priority for them is a low priority for other
countries. Well said.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So that is why I believe it is not going to be possible for SDG 6 to be achieved throughout the world in the next 2030.
Thank you so much, Teacher Del.
Thank you for watching, everyone. Once again, this is Teacher Aya, your host, and we hope that you have enjoyed and have learned something from this video. There is nothing more essential to life on earth than water. Having access to clean water changes everything. It is a stepping stone to sustainable development. Hopefully, we will be able to see you guys again in the next video. And if you do want to get entertained or learn more about NativeCamp, please don't forget to head onto the channel, watch our videos, and again, don't forget to click the like or tap the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day, stay safe, and be well.